very warm welcome to Business at 9 on ET Now. I'm Vikram with the biggest buzzing business news of the day. And right on top is the aviation news story that we've been tracking. As far as Vistara is concerned, we have been talking about the kind of delays and disruptions because of the pilots issue that the airline has been facing. Now, the Indian Commercial Pilots Association, ICPA or ICPA, has written a letter to the Tata Group Chairman, Chandrasekaran, and this letter comes as a sign of solidarity and support to the pilots of Vistara. Let's find out what that letter contains. My colleague Sumit Chaturvedi has been tracking this news for us, and he's joining us in Delhi. Sumit, if you can tell us about this letter, which is clearly a sign of solidarity from the pilots of Air India for those of Vistara.
Now, the Indian Commercial Pilot Association, which represents Air India pilots, has come out in support of Vistara Airlines, taking the whole thing to a different level. ICPA has written a letter to Tata Chairman and Chandrasekaran, in which ICPA has said that Vistara pilots' demands, they reflect broader challenges within Tata Group. They also said that threatening pilots with disruption is unethical. The issues faced by Vistara pilots is not unique to them. It reflects the overall concerns of other Tata airlines. We can tell you other Tata airlines are Air India Express. Vistara, we know that is a Tata Group airline. So this issue there are multiple issues of 70-hour fixed remuneration, which was yesterday addressed, leave approval, rest period. So these were the concerns raised by Vistara pilots so far. They were reporting leading to many cancellations. But now this time, an important development has come that they have got support of other Tata Group airlines. It's really for Tata Group to see how they are going to address all these challenges.
That's right, Sumit, but also it raises very important concerns when it comes to pilot safety, the entire rostering issue, and whether, as a consequence, we are overriding profitability of an airline over passenger safety. Let's discuss this with Captain Sanjay Karve. He's a retired chief pilot and a cultural manager for the Government of Maharashtra. Captain Karve, good evening to you. What is your stand, Captain Karve, on the pilot rostering issue at Vistara? How much of this issue is around pilot safety and, as a consequence, like I mentioned, safety of air travelers to you?
It is an organizational failure. If you look back, when Tata Airlines issued their new paycheck or the new pay structure about 6 months ago, Tata Pilot Union had also gone and met their CEO and expressed the reservations. There was already an unease with the Vistara group of pilots as and when they merge with Tata Airlines, they would have to come to a lower pay scale. The second issue was the FDTL is 100 hours per month. Most of the flights today, or the pilots who are doing scheduled commercial flying, are close to flying 98 to 99 hours per month, which is close to the maximum permissible by DGCA. A few months ago, if you remember, the Honorable Minister of Civil Aviation, with a lot of fanfare, had declared that a new rest period, a new CAR has come into force. And a week ago, very quietly, DGCA has come out with an amendment saying that there is no time limit. Each airline is free to make out its own rules and get it approved by DGCA. Now, this leads us to a very pertinent question that each airline is looking at its commercial interest and not at the safety. We are not talking of the pilot safety. We are also talking of the passenger safety. The airline life appears very glamorous, but imagine an individual who gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning to have a 6 o'clock takeoff, lands at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon in a different place, lives out of a suitcase, and next day he's again up at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
Why? Because the rule says that he's got his 8 hours of break or 10 hours of break. What happens to your body clock? And this has been going on day in and day out.
But Captain Karve, like you pointed out, why is the DGCA not taking a stronger stand in terms of having a uniform rule for all pilots across airlines?
There is a uniform rule. What they have very smartly, politically correctly, with what they have done is they have segregated the NSOP operators and the scheduled commercial operators. The rule still applies to the NSOP operators, but the leeway has been given to scheduled commercial operators. Now, scheduled commercial operations carry thousands of passengers every day, and it is their safety at stake. And especially in a country like ours, where you have excellent weather in South India, within 3 hours you would be landing in North, where the weather would be bad. It demands a huge amount of skill and concentration from the pilot's point of view. And it's essential that he has had adequate rest. If you recollect, just a day before yesterday, the Vistara CEO has agreed that the rostering needs a relook. Now, if a CEO has to admit that a rostering needs to have a relook, it is a very serious thing. And Vistara pilot's script is genuine. They have on paper something known as a casual leave or short leave. But the company expects them to let them know 2 to 3 months in advance. How is it possible that a casual leave can be planned 2 months or 3 months in advance? It's a casual leave.
Yes.
You
So
need
how
to plan your
strongly,
annual
Captain
leave 8 months
Karve,
in advance.
I understand the point you're making, but how strongly do pilots in India, how long have they felt this issue, and why has it taken this long for it to come to the forefront? There is a show of solidarity in the letter that has been sent by ICPA to the Tata Group Chairman today. How do you think the pilots are viewing this issue, and how has it taken them this long to bring it forth?
Normally, what happens is every pilot who's in the job of flying loves flying. He's there because of that. It is not only the attractive pay scale or the lifestyle, it is because he loves flying. And there has always been a problem with the rostering and the amount of flying done by the pilots. What really shook up all the pilots across the airlines was a couple of deaths which we have had in last few months, either on the tarmac or just on the aero bridge, of young pilots, late 30s, early 40s, medically fit, who have been examined by DGCA, who have been examined by the Air Force. What led to them? Very easy to say, an heart attack. What led to a young man of 40 or 42 to have a heart attack? Stress. What kind of stress? Airlines are insisting that you meet the time limits, you meet the takeoff time, you meet the landing time, on which the pilot has no control. The airfields are congested, the airports are congested, the ATC is actually at its wits end to manage so many aircraft. And we are talking of inducting another 2,000 aircraft and 1,800 aircraft into this country. But no one has ever thought, do we really have the infrastructure to handle so many aircraft? Do we have the technique? Do we have the instrumentation? That really no one is bothered about. We are only talking of, I have ordered 500 aircraft. I have ordered 700 aircraft. Where are the pilots? We have 7,000 pilots in India without a job.
Yes.
But there is no pilot in.
Yes, but when you
It is not
weigh
that
this
pilots
against,
are not available.
Captain Karve, when you compare what the situation in India is for the issues that you are bringing to light, how unique is India's situation compared to the best global practices right now? How do you think this issue is best resolved now by the managements of airlines and the DGCA?
If you look abroad, you are talked of worldwide, the airline pilots union or the aircrew union is extremely strong. And the management does not hesitate in talking with the aircrew union. Whereas in India, the moment we use the word union, we somehow get against it. The general consensus of the people on ground also, oh, these people are into union. They don't want to fly. They are putting us at risk. No, the pilots are not fighting for themselves. They are fighting for our lives. We are the ones who are traveling behind. We are the ones who are sitting as passengers. Would you like to be flown by a pilot who's got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and operating a flight at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, groggy eyes? I personally would not like to be flown like this. And I'm sure most of us would not like to be. And it is not that we do not have pilots in this country. It just the management feels things are going on. No one is complaining. I induct pilots. When you're talking of inducting 500 aircraft, 600 aircraft, nowhere I have seen any airline giving a schedule of inducting pilots. I don't remember any newspaper, any article, or any magazine, or any statement by any CEO stating these many aircrafts are coming in. And this is my timeline to induct pilots. We are only talking of getting an aircraft. At what cost? Where are the pilots? It is no wonder that Indian pilots are leaving Indian Air and moving abroad to fly other aircraft.
When you talk specifically about the Indian aviation sector, you have highlighted all the problems that arise from this rostering issue that pilots face. But do tell us, from the management's perspective, from the aviation sector, from the industry perspective here in India, how does the profitability actually plan out at this stage? Because are we looking at squeezed margins? Is it that airlines are forced into this kind of situation?
Pardon me for being the devil's advocate. I do sympathize with the management. The cutthroat fares which we have in this country cannot be matched anywhere in the world. you're planning to fly from Mumbai to Delhi on a normal day at 4,500 to 5,500 rupees. A cab from Mumbai to Pune takes 3,000 rupees. And we are talking of an airfare of 4,000 to 4,500. It's very nice to say that it is the cheapest fare. He can cancel it. He does not get a seat choice. He does not get food, but still he's being charged. Where does the airline make a profit? It has to run. It is answerable to its shareholders. It is answerable to its management. So this is where the problem comes in. You do not want to cut. You do not want to increase prices for fear of losing passengers who are competitor. And you cannot get more pilots because again, your cost is going to go up. It is a catch-22 situation. The management of all the airlines need to sit together with the Ministry of Civil Aviation and tell them, look, we have a real problem. And the other major problem is the amount of tax on the aviation turbine fuel, which is laid. Every state has got a different structure, which goes up as much as 18 to 20% from a state to state, which is the major cost of your flights.
Correct. So a solution has to be found because passenger safety cannot be compromised. At the same time, the concerns of the aviation sector, the managements that are contending with this issue, we need to find a middle ground. We are a developing country. The need for more pilots, for a stronger aviation sector is really the need. Now, how exactly this is going to be reached as a solution, overriding the kind of concerns that do exist at this point in time, like Vistara is pointing out this rostering issue. How a solution is going to be found is going to be an important ask. Captain Karve, appreciate you joining us with your perspective on this. Thanks for highlighting all the major concerns around this issue.